What Aliyah Boston said after this game had every single Fever fan on social media going absolutely wild. But it wasn't just her words that caught attention, it was how she backed them up with the most complete performance of her career when her team needed it most. 22 points, 11 rebounds, and a career-high 6 steals that culminated in the game-sealing defensive play with under 2 seconds left. Her post-game message about staying ready might just be the key to understanding how Indiana pulled off their most crucial victory of the season. But here's what makes this even more incredible. The Fever walked into this game looking like they were hanging on by a thread. Caitlin Clark sidelined with that groin injury. Sydney Colson done for the season. Aari McDonald out indefinitely. 4 key players in street clothes, while the Sparks were hunting for their 4th straight win against Indiana this year. Yet somehow, one veteran who wasn't even on the roster 3 weeks ago became the closer nobody saw coming. The pressure was suffocating before tip-off. Indiana sat in 6th place, desperately clinging to their playoff spot, while Seattle lurked just half a game behind. Every possession mattered, because dropping this game could have meant watching their postseason dreams crumble in real time. The Sparks had owned them all season long, winning every single matchup, and now they smelled blood in the water. That's when the most unlikely scenario unfolded. A 31-year-old guard who'd been waived by Los Angeles earlier this season stepped up and delivered the performance of a lifetime against her former team. Odyssey Sims didn't just contribute, she took over when the lights were brightest, dropping 21 points and hitting the shots that mattered most in crunch time. Think about the narrative here. Sims scored 21 points against the team that waived her this season in one of the most recent games, including a Final 5 that sealed the win for the Fever. This wasn't just basketball, this was personal. Every bucket felt like a statement to the organization that let her walk. Every clutch shot carried the weight of someone proving she still belonged on this stage. The defining moment came with just over 13 seconds left on the clock. Indiana clinging to hope. The ball in Sims's hands, and she rose into that floater she's perfected over her 11-year career. It dropped through clean, giving the Fever the lead for good and silencing the Staples Center crowd. You could see the emotional weight lift off her shoulders as she ran back down the floor, arms steady, face calm, like she knew this moment was always meant to be hers.
But Sims wasn't carrying this load alone. Standing right beside her was the anchor of Indiana's identity, and Boston delivered a masterclass in two-way dominance that left everyone talking. She didn't just fill up the box score, she stamped her presence on every single possession, both ends of the floor, without taking a breath. The numbers tell part of the story. Boston finished with 22 points, 11 for 18 field goals, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 steals, and 1 block across 37 minutes in Friday's 76-75 win over the Sparks. But those 6 steals were the highest mark of her career, and they came exactly when her team needed defensive stops the most. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was orchestrating every possession like a conductor leading an orchestra. The game-sealing moment perfectly captured Boston's impact. Just 1.9 seconds left, Los Angeles desperate for one last chance, and Boston read the play like she had a crystal ball. She reached in, ripped the ball clean from the Sparks' hands, and ended any hope of a comeback right there on the spot. No drama, no scramble, just a superstar doing what superstars do when everything's on the line. After the final buzzer, when the microphones surrounded her, Boston dropped a line that's been echoing through Fever Nation ever since. She talked about the team's next woman up mentality, the belief that when one player goes down, everyone else steps up even harder. It wasn't just motivational speak either, she had just lived it herself, carrying a massive load while still trusting her teammates in critical moments. That philosophy was playing out all around her too. Look at Lexi Hull, who stepped onto that court with 2 black eyes from her collision with Gabby Williams in the previous game. Most players would have found a way to sit out. Hull charged through screens, dove after loose balls, and defended with the same intensity as if nothing had happened.
She embodied exactly what Boston was talking about. Show up even when it hurts. The resilience didn't stop there either. Aerial powers sparked the offense off the bench like she'd been waiting for this moment all season. Every player who touched the court carried weight beyond what their usual role demanded. That's championship level depth. And it's exactly what Boston meant when she kept repeating those 3 words: next woman up. This victory proves something that goes way deeper than just surviving injuries. Boston surpassed last year's franchise record of 335 rebounds with 355 rebounds corralled in 2024, to also finish 7th in the WNBA in rebounds per game. She's not just having a career year individually, she's becoming the type of leader who elevates everyone around her when the stakes are highest. The win locked Indiana into that 6th playoff spot for now, building a crucial safety cushion over Seattle while forcing the Sparks further back in the standings. But more importantly, it sent a message that this team isn't just hanging on anymore. They're learning how to close games under pressure, and that's the kind of growth you can't teach in practice. Here's where the story gets even more intriguing though. While Boston and Sims were stealing headlines with their performances, there's one name that wasn't on the court that has every fan asking the same question. When is Caitlin Clark finally coming back? She's been sidelined with that groin injury for weeks now, missing crucial games during the playoff push. But for the first time in what feels like forever, there's actually hope on the horizon. Clark has been spotted in practice gear, participating in team shoot-arounds and moving around with the group during pre-game warm-ups. It's not full game action yet, but it's the closest she's looked to her old self since going down with the injury. The timing couldn't be more perfect either. Indiana has just 5 games left on their regular season schedule, and every single one carries playoff implications. Right now, they're sitting in 6th place, but that could change in a heartbeat if they stumble. The margin for error is razor thin, and everyone in that locker room knows it. Picture this scenario though. Clark was averaging 19 points and 8 assists before the injury took her out of the lineup. She wasn't just filling a scoring role either. She was dictating pace, creating open lanes for Boston, and getting shooters like Kelsey Mitchell cleaner looks than they'd seen all season. Those numbers don't lie, and they completely change how opposing defenses have to prepare for Indiana. This victory against Los Angeles proved the Fever can survive and even thrive without their biggest star on the floor. But imagine what happens when you add Clark's playmaking back into this mix. Suddenly, the conversation shifts from can they just hang on to can they make serious noise if they reach the postseason. That's a completely different level of confidence and expectation. The risk of rushing her back too soon is real though. Aggravating that groin injury could end their season completely, and everyone knows it. That's the delicate balance Indiana's medical staff is managing right now. Every practice session, every movement drill, every contact situation gets scrutinized because the stakes couldn't be higher. But here's what makes tonight's performance so significant. This team just proved they can beat a quality opponent that had owned them all year long without their franchise player on the court. They did it with grit, with veterans stepping up, and with a next woman up mentality that's becoming their identity. Now imagine what they become when Clark returns healthy and ready to contribute. The culture Boston described after the game isn't just about surviving injuries either. It's about building the type of mental toughness that championship teams need when adversity hits. Every team deals with setbacks during a long season. The difference is how they respond. And Indiana's response has been to get stronger and more unified. That mindset showed up in every possession against the Sparks. When Kelsey Mitchell couldn't find her rhythm from the field, Sims stepped into that scoring void without hesitation. When the defense needed a game-changing play, Boston delivered 6 steals and a game-sealing defensive stop. When role players were asked to do more than usual, they embraced the challenge instead of shrinking from it. This is exactly what Boston meant by next woman up. It's not just about having players available on the bench. It's about having players ready to perform at their highest level, regardless of the circumstances. It's confidence that whoever steps onto the court deserves to be there and can get the job done when it matters most. The broader implications stretch well beyond this single victory too. 2024 marked the first time they even made an appearance in the WNBA playoffs since 2016. Just making the postseason was supposed to be the goal this year, but this team is starting to look like they could do more than just participate. They're developing the type of mental toughness and depth that can surprise people in a playoff setting. What happened in Los Angeles wasn't just about basketball either. It was about proving that adversity doesn't have to derail your season. It can actually make you stronger if you respond the right way. Every player who contributed to this win now knows they can perform under pressure when their teammates are counting on them. That confidence is going to be crucial as they head into the final stretch of the regular season. Every remaining game carries playoff implications, and the pressure is only going to intensify from here. But instead of buckling under that weight, this team seems to be embracing it and using it as motivation to play their best basketball.
The chemistry between Boston and Sims in particular was something special to watch. Two players at different stages of their careers, both understanding exactly what this moment meant for the franchise. Boston with her franchise record rebounding and career-high defensive performance, Sims with her clutch scoring and veteran poise against her former team. Together, they created the perfect storm of leadership and execution. For Fever fans who have waited years to see this type of meaningful basketball in September, this victory felt like more than just one win. It felt like proof that their team is ready for whatever comes next, whether that's battling for playoff positioning over the final games or making noise once the postseason begins. This group has shown they won't back down from anyone. Boston's post-game message about staying ready is going to resonate throughout the organization. It's not just about basketball preparation either. It's about mental readiness, emotional toughness, and the belief that your moment could come at any time. Sims exemplified that perfectly by being ready to deliver a career-defining performance when her number was called. The road ahead isn't going to be easy. There are still games to win, playoff positioning to secure, and hopefully a healthy Caitlin Clark to integrate back into the lineup. But what happened against the Sparks proved that this Indiana Fever team has the heart, the talent, and the mental fortitude to handle whatever challenges come their way. That's exactly what championship cultures are built on. Not just talent, but the belief that everyone in the organization is ready to step up when the moment demands it. Boston said it perfectly after the game, and her team proved it on the court. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's the mentality that's going to carry this franchise back to where it belongs. This wasn't just about surviving one game without their biggest star. It was about proving they're ready to thrive no matter what obstacles get thrown in their path. And with the playoffs approaching and Clark potentially returning soon, the best of this season might still be ahead of them.